7,000 years ago, someone cut off a man's arm. No hospital, no medicine, just a stone blade. And here's the crazy part. He survived. Not just survived, actually. The guy lived for years after that. How do we know? His bone, it healed up smooth, rounded, almost perfect, honestly. So think about that for a second. Someone stopped the bleeding. Someone kept him alive for months, maybe even years. No doctors, no insurance, just a group of people who looked at him and basically said, nope, we're not letting this guy die. So, what did they know back then that we somehow forgot? Okay, here's a wild fact for you. Bones can actually talk. When you break one, your body starts fixing it almost immediately. But if you die shortly after, the bone stays sharp, jagged, frozen, basically right at the moment it broke. Now, if you survive, though, it smooths out, rounds over. Sometimes it almost disappears completely. And that's literally how scientists piece together 7,000-year-old medical history. Just by reading bones like this. So, this particular skeleton, found in France, roughly 5,000 BC, and the cut on his arm, clean, deliberate. Not some accident. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing, which means his whole community had to step up after that. Feed him, protect him, basically keep him going for as long as it took. All right, now here's where it gets even crazier. A broken thigh bone today takes 12 to 16 weeks to heal, and that's with surgery, metal rods, a cast, the works. Back then, same healing time, except now you can't hunt, can't walk, can't really help with anything. So somebody else had to do your job for you every single day for months straight. And get this, they did it over and over on every continent for thousands of years. Here's another wild one. They used wooden splints. There are Egyptian mummies, 4,000 years old, that still have splints wrapped around the broken bone. No x-rays, obviously, no real way to double check their work. Just hands, eyes, and centuries of trial and error. Okay, let's talk tools for a second. That they used obsidian, volcanic glass, basically, and get this, a freshly cracked piece of obsidian is actually sharper than a modern steel scalpel. Sharper at the molecular level, even. For stitches, needles carved straight out of bone. They had zero idea bacteria existed. But fire? Fire they understood. So they'd heat a blade until it glowed, and somehow infections just dropped. No clue why it worked. They just knew that it did. Speaking of things that just worked without anyone knowing why, in 1928, a guy named Alexander Fleming accidentally discovers penicillin, mold just sitting there killing bacteria in his petri dish. Huge deal, right? Except, plot twist, the Egyptians beat him to it. By 3,400 years, there are ancient Egyptian texts describing moldy bread pressed right onto open wounds. Over in China, moldy soybean curd was treating infections around 3000 BC. The Sumerians, they were putting honey on wounds as early as 2000 BC. None of them had any idea what bacteria even were. They just noticed the simple part. Treat the wound this way, it heals. Leave it alone, it often doesn't. Which is honestly the exact same scientific method we still use. They just didn't have a microscope. So, who actually were these healers anyway? There was no medical school, no textbooks, definitely no exams. You learned by watching first, then helping, then eventually doing it yourself for real on real people with real stakes. And if you messed up, the whole community knew, the whole community remembered too. That's a lot of pressure, but that kind of pressure builds skill fast. A lot of the time these healers were shamans, sometimes priests even. To them, sickness wasn't just a physical thing, it was spiritual too. But the actual treatments they used, built on thousands of years of just watching what worked, all right? Here's the part that should honestly unsettle you a little. During the American Civil War, so thousands of years after all this, doctors were reusing the exact same metal tools, rinsed in water, patient after patient after patient, and the hospitals were packed, sick people everywhere. Germs spreading constantly, dirty hands, shared tools, terrible air. So many people were dying from infection that some doctors actually said, just treat people in tents instead. Now, ancient healers had zero idea germs even existed. But by total accident, they avoided this exact problem. No hospitals meant no pileup of sick people crammed into one place. Tools got used once, then cleaned with fire, not passed around to dozens of strangers all day. And treatment usually happened outside, in open air, which means, weirdly enough, those primitive conditions were actually cleaner than an 1800s hospital ward. Now, don't get the wrong idea here. This isn't some argument against modern medicine. Modern medicine has done things ancient healers couldn't have even dreamed of. Vaccines wiped out diseases that used to kill millions of kids every single year. Surgery today succeeds at rates nobody back then could have imagined. Organ transplants, joint replacements, the list just keeps going. And anesthesia? That alone changed what medicine even is. No more gritting your teeth through surgery. So, no, this isn't nostalgia for some harsher, crueler past. But somewhere between then and now, we did lose something too. Ancient healers knew their patients personally, not as some case number, as a neighbor, a cousin, someone they'd known their entire life. And the care didn't just stop the second treatment ended, it kept going for months, feeding them, protecting them, just because they were part of the group. No insurance company sitting there deciding if you deserve 3 months to recover, no clock running, counting how many patients you're seeing per hour. Just people, a community, one simple, unspoken rule. We keep each other alive. Modern medicine treats your body with incredible precision, sure, but ancient communities treated the whole person with a kind of time most systems just don't have anymore. So here's where we land. A man 7,000 years ago lost his arm, and he lived for years afterward, not because of any medicine we'd even recognize today, but because people decided flat out and what he want that his life was worth saving. We've gone and built hospitals with technology beyond anything they could have ever dreamed of. So go ahead, ask yourself just one thing. If you got seriously sick tomorrow, how many people in your life would actually show up, feed you, protect you, take care of you for months if it came to that, without you even having to ask?